2006, the year that the 7th generation of game consoles released.
Scott, which one do you prefer? And you ruin your credibility. Nintendo.
Controller. EDOLED. The name EDOLED didn't make any sense to me until I looked closely into the letters and found that it was backwards for delete. And EDOLED swung the axe at my Mii's neck, decapitating him. And there was still no blood. However, I still did see red stains on my Mii's neck and head. I was done at this point. I went back to the living room to see the static is still on the TV. But after a couple seconds, the static was replaced with a black background with white text saying, "This is not over." EDOLED. I clicked on the Mii channel and pressed start, and I was taken to the Mii channel. It was just a black screen with
You came back.
a file named deleted.mp4. I was nervous. I didn't want to click it, but if I was gonna find this Mii's origin, I had to continue. I clicked the file and a video opened. It was static for a while, but then it cut to a hallway with hospital beds lined up next to one another. Each bed had a Mii laying down on it, hooked up to life support machines, and you can clearly hear the beeping sounds of the machines. But most disturbingly, you can hear the moans and cries of the Mii's laying on the beds. The camera moved through the hallway slowly, and it stopped and turned to one of the beds. A pale Mii was laying down on it. Then after a while, the Mii flatlined. The strange thing is that the Mii's in this video can make different expressions, like being sad or angry. There were also Mii's who were making expressions that weren't even possible for a Mii to make. I saw some that were full-blown crying. The screen. EDOLED was done speaking. He ripped off the tubes and wires off him that were connecting him to the life support machines, and got out of his bed. And then he disappeared. I think it's best that I never do. To me, he was just some other guy who just wasn't really known by anyone. But sometime during the Wii's production, he started to act strange. Hey Jonathan, what do you think Henry's doing over there?
The bathroom.
Everyone got up, left their cubicles, and ran to the room. And when I managed to get a good look into the room, I almost fainted. Henry was laying on the floor, dead. His body was dark, unrecognizable, as if he were electrocuted. The result was an office-wide panic. No, why don't you want to be deleted? I questioned. EDOLED started to explain that this Wii was previously owned by a kid named Kyle. My eyes widened. This was the same Kyle? How? How did he know that I owned the Wii? He tried to go back into the Mii channel, but a text box would always appear saying, "We deleted you."
Oh, that's why they call it that.
EDOLED, how were you able to hear me? I questioned.
I can hear everything that happens outside the Wii.
EDOLED then managed to free his mouth from the corrupted Mii's hands and yelled,
No, that's wrong!
"Do you really think I'm that stupid?" I yelled.
No, that's wrong!
I yelled. Kyle sprung up from my bed.
No!
Kyle said quietly. Why did I care? I want nothing to do with the corrupted Mii. I held the B button to pick up the corrupted Mii. With terrible lag, I dragged him over to the delete icon. I let go, and then a text box appeared saying, "Deletion clears the voice, and destruction opens the gates." I didn't know what that meant, and the buttons at the bottom of the text box were hard to read, as their textures were all messed up. I decided to take a guess at which one was yes. I clicked on one button, and it appears I was right. After I deleted the corrupted Mii, Edeled turned towards the camera.
Thank you.
Edeled's voice was different this time. It was still sort of low-pitched, but it also felt a bit higher-pitched. It also felt less distorted, and looked at the Wii, and I was horrified with what I saw.
No, that's wrong!
I just sat down on my bed, thinking about what to do next. But then I looked at the TV, which was still on. What I saw on screen was a note. A note from Edeled. It read this.
Dear Sam, if you're reading this, the Wii's now completely melted. My spirit no longer exists in it. But I'm writing this to tell you how grateful I am. For as far as I can remember, I was never treated with as much respect and kindness as you have. I was bullied, and I was punished. While my mother always loved me and my brother, she was always in a sad state. I never thought that I would be happy, not even as a me. But after I met you, I felt some happiness. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for making my last few days on this earth happier for me. Sure, I was shocked and put in pain, but what makes me happy is that you cared. You cared about me. You cared about my well-being. I never, ever got that in the past. So, one last time, thank you, Sam, and farewell. Sincerely, Henry.
After I read the note, I turned off the TV.
Other people would hang out with their friends or focus on hobbies in their free time. Honestly, it's such a waste of time. I preferred to spend my free time studying. Oh, Austin, if only I could have a little more time to play with you. You see, you weren't meant to last long here in this company. See you on the other side, old friend. Then, Henry took his final swing. He pressed on the selection to create a new me avatar. He gave the selected me the male gender role, and seemingly disturbing-like features from then on out. Well, you really should have thought twice about acting like you did before taking it out on others, Henry. Was expanded, to the point of almost completely covering his eyes. Before I could think of it, Henry pulled an axe out of nowhere and shouted, "Don't call me Henry!" Grabbed him by the neck and pulled him up. With a grin on my face and a scared look on Henry's, I glared down at my hand. I forgot I had modeled it to be low poly, so they looked like claws. I realized they were perfect for the job. I smiled and swiftly cut Henry's head off with my claws. I dropped Henry's dead body on the floor, but I was still not satisfied. I wanted them to see me. Then, when I was ready, I started speaking.
13 people, me's or whatever you could define them as, died and we deleted you. The victims were all male, giving us our Island of a pie chart, which has a male to female ratio of 13:0. We just saw this kill count on the parody with Danganronpa the animation, the first kill count of the year, which is pretty cool. With a runtime of 205 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 15.77 minutes.